The startling look at crimes, specifically sex crime, aboard cruise ships. No vacation is billed as such a carefree escape as a cruise, but unreported crime on board has become such a problem that Congress recently passed a law requiring cruise lines to report all crime at sea to the FBI. Well, tonight, a brave teenager for the first time tells her story of how a trip turned into a nightmare at the hands of a cruise employee. Here's Vicki Mabry.
The ads highlight all the fun to be had on a cruise ship. The games, the buffet, the pool, the relaxation.
Where you're free to do anything you want.
That's why in the spring of 2009, Darla and Enoch, who asked us not to share their last name, took their 14-year-old daughter Taylor on an 8-day Caribbean cruise on the Carnival ship Freedom.
I mean, most of the stuff is taken care of for you. You don't have to worry about fixing meals or where you're going to go eat. You don't have to worry about the entertainment because there's entertainment on the ship every night.
At any point in planning this, did safety cross your mind?
Safety was the furthest thing from my mind because we thought there was security all over the ship.
When you're on the ship, you don't think about that. You think you're safe.
But 5 days into the cruise, 14-year-old Taylor would find out she wasn't.
My parents went to bed and I couldn't sleep, so I left the room and went up to the open deck. I used to go up there and write in my journal at night, and I did that night.
That night was the night Taylor was raped by this man, Harry Crispianto, a Carnival Cruise Line employee from Indonesia who waited on the family during meals.
He pulled me into an employee-only room. I asked him what he was doing, and he told me that he was going to take care of me.
And then what happened?
Well, he raped me, and I kept saying no, but he didn't care.
And after this was over, what did he say?
He told me not to tell my parents, but then he just unlocked the door and let me go.
Taylor returned to her parents' cabin, shaken, angry, and afraid. And she didn't tell them what had happened. Why not?
It's hard to say it. And my dad's birthday was the next day, and it's too hard to say.
For Darla and Enoch, who knew nothing of what had just happened, the vacation continued. But for Taylor, the cruise became a floating, inescapable nightmare.
At that point, I just really wanted to die.
Cruise ships are soft targets primarily because they have little security on board.
Mark Guyette would know. He's the former head of security for Princess Cruise Lines and author of the book Cruising for Trouble.
When passengers step foot on the gangway, they have a false sense of security. Sexual assault crimes are probably the #1 most reported crime on cruise ships, and the great majority of these crimes are committed by crew members.
Hard numbers about how much crime is committed at sea are difficult to come by because up to now no single agency tracks cruise crime, and the cruise industry hasn't been required to report it.
On the last night of the cruise, I was drugged by a bartender employed by the cruise line and sexually assaulted.
But safety is enough of a problem that Congress held hearings on cruise ship crime in 2006 and 2007.
A Royal Caribbean security guard raped me.
After returning home to Oklahoma, Taylor would keep her terrible secret from her parents for the next 3 months until those feelings of anger and helplessness caused her to hit bottom.
I had some thoughts about suicide, so I decided to tell my mom because I needed help.
She said, do you remember Harry on the cruise? And I said, yes, I remember. And she said, he raped me.
And when that happened, I felt like there was nothing I could ever do anymore.
What he did was call the FBI. By then, Harry Crispianto was back home in Indonesia. It was nearly 9 more months before the FBI located him, back in a U.S. port working on another Carnival cruise ship.
First, the perpetrator, when the FBI interviewed him, said it never happened.
Attorney Charles Lipcon's Miami law firm sued Carnival for Taylor and her family.
And the FBI gave him a lie detector test. And the waiter flunked the lie detector test. And then the waiter said, well, yeah, I did have sex with Taylor, but it was consensual. Well, you can't have consensual sex with a 14-year-old.
Chris Bianto pled guilty to a lesser charge of sex with a minor. He's serving 3 years in prison. But for Taylor, that's not enough.
No, because that's not what he did. He raped me. They arrested him and they put him in jail, but he got 37 months. And I have to deal with this for the rest of my life.
Charles Lipcon says he hears from new victims every day, with the greatest increase coming in passenger-on-passenger crime. But he says any prosecution in cases like these is rare.
That's the first conviction that I've seen in handling these type of cases for 35 years. So, you know, one conviction in 35 years, what kind of a deterrent is that?
Carnival refused to speak with us on camera, but sent a statement apologizing again to Taylor and her parents, and also saying they go to tremendous lengths to ensure a secure and enjoyable vacation for the more than 4 million passengers who sail with us each year. Taylor and her family settled out of court with Carnival, but refused to sign a gag order because Taylor, who's now just 16, wanted to speak out.
You know, cruise ships don't have enough security. And parents don't go on the cruise ship and think, you know, my child could get raped when I go on this cruise. Nobody thinks about that.
Because as they set sail, that's probably the furthest thing from anyone's mind. This is Vicki Mabry for Nightline in Oklahoma.